Hey everyone, welcome to our show Timeout. I'm your host Trey Avant with my co-host, my brother Noah Avant, and this is a two-man webcast that discusses sports and entertainment. Before we begin, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms. Just look for @Boca Tribune on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also follow the show on Instagram at _timeout7. Huddle up. It's time for a timeout. All right, Noah. As always, we're starting with the NBA. When it comes to the playoffs, there are a couple teams that have already clinched playoff spots. In the East, we have the Sixers, the Nets, the Bucks, the Hawks, the Heat, and the Knicks. In the West, we have the Jazz, the Suns, the Clippers, and the Nuggets. When it comes to the playing game spots, in the East, we have the Celtics, the Hornets, and the Pacers. And with the West, you have the Warriors and the Grizzlies. And then you have the Wizards and the Bulls battling for the final playing game spot in the East. And the Blazers, Mavericks, Lakers, Spurs, and Kings are battling for the final two playing game spots. So I'm going to ask you two questions. Out of all the teams that are on the bubble, who has the toughest road to the playoffs?
That's tough. I'm honestly gonna say this in terms of
you can start with the East and then go to the West if you want.
Okay. In terms of the East, none of them really necessarily have a super tough like journey in the playoff because off the strength of, realistically speaking, none of these teams could really beat the clinch teams, in my opinion. Maybe the Knicks could fold, or maybe the Hawks, or even the beloved Heat, but it's just not likely. I don't see Washington, beating somebody in that top four, nor any of these other teams. Now, the West is where things get dicey, because I could see the Mavericks or the Lakers or even the Trailblazers beating the Suns, beating the Nuggets, Nuggets without Jamal Murray, even the Clippers, the Jazz are going to be a team that probably make it to all of the second round, and then they're going to get bounced. So for me, the toughest road really goes in with the Lakers. The Lakers are the Mavericks, because they have to play up and they have to play these tough teams right away instead of them having to beat down on some of the lower teams. And on top of that, they're gonna probably have to play each other at some point in the playoffs. That's what makes it hard. So not only do I have to play an extra game to get in the playoffs, I have to play you guys again, play another team that's just as good as us again in the playoffs. Then they go again in the throughout the whole series to the finals. And on top of, these guys are tired. These guys last year were still sitting. I don't even think the season had restarted yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this season now, like this tournament is going to be very interesting to see. But in short, the Lakers or the Mavericks have the hardest road to the playoffs.
Definitely, I agree with you, especially like if the Lakers have to go up against the Warriors, which eventually they might have to. If they make it to the play-in, they're gonna have to go up against the Warriors. And that's going to be extremely tough. Will they most likely end up winning? Yeah, but when Steph is on fire, then
you can't even say that they're guaranteed to win.
Yeah, I mean you can't even guarantee that. LeBron's not ready to go, or if things happening with Anthony Davis, then it's going to be tough.
It's dicey.
It's going to get real dicey. But my next question to you is, out of all the teams that have already clinched a playoff spot, who has the best chance to reach the finals?
I mean, aside from the mainstream favorite, the Nets, I honestly think that the 76ers could potentially be that team to come out of the East. I'm really impressed with how they played this year. Joel Embiid is playing at an amazing level this year. And even Ben Simmons has even been producing a little bit more about average, but his production for his play has been beneficial for the team. I do feel like Doc Rivers being there was really the missing piece for this team to really be a championship team. Realistically speaking, I am excited to see what the Suns could do with Chris Paul and a team like that. I'm not really necessarily worried about the Clippers. I don't think the Clippers are going to be a team that people should really worry about. That team's probably going to fall apart at the end of this year. And even the Trailblazers. I mean, not the Trailblazers, even the Jazz. You know, like I previously stated, the team that's going to make it out of the West will be either the Lakers or the Suns. Those are the two teams, my two teams to watch coming out of the West. In terms of the East, be prepared for this because it'll either be the Sixers or the Nets. The Heat could potentially go up there and shock the world again and maybe make it to the finals again. But in the West, before they get there, they're going to have to either see the Nets or the Sixers, and then whichever one they don't see in the semifinals, they'll have to see in the Eastern Conference Finals. And that's going to be tough. That's going to be real tough because how the standards are set, I think we see the Knicks first.
No, as of right now, we'd be facing the Hawks.
Okay, so we see the Hawks first. That should be a pretty decent 6-game series. You know, and then what's next? The Bucks?
I think so. No, I think it'd probably be one of the Nets or the Sixers, maybe.
That's what I was thinking. So like that's gonna be tough to see. You know, but luckily with the Hawks being the first series, not to talk down on them, but I just don't see them necessarily giving us a hard test unless the Heat really just fall apart.
It'd be similar to how the Heat played against the Pacers last year.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe a 5 to 6 game series, but if it goes 7, it's looking really dangerous for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I don't see them having the manpower to necessarily come up and beat Miami.
Yeah. Me personally, I feel like with the East, the teams with the best chance are going to be the Sixers, the Nets, and the Heat. In the West, like you said, the Lakers. But I'm going to deviate a little bit by throwing in the Nuggets and the Clippers as well. Because
can I elaborate?
Yes. So like you said, I agree with you. The Lakers, LeBron James, whatever, Anthony Davis, you can never count them out. The Nuggets, I mean, they're playing great even without Jamal Murray. They replaced Jamal Murray with pretty much Aaron Gordon. So we talked about it before. The Nuggets are still a really dangerous team, and we see what happened last year when they kept going down 3-1 and kept coming back. They did it twice in a row, then they ran into the Lakers, obviously.
But they had Jamal Murray.
They did have Jamal Murray. But they have Michael Porter Jr. now, who's playing really well in the playoffs. He could really explode. He was great last year in the playoffs, but now he's more experienced, so he might really take off now. And with the Clippers, they folded last year completely to the Nuggets, but they're still one of the more talented teams in the league, and I think they'll redeem themselves. I don't know if they'll make it to the finals because, like you said, there's Lakers and Nuggets there, and then like Jazz. So I don't know if they're gonna make it to the finals, but they're too talented of a team to really like not talk about them. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like with the Jazz and the Suns, just not experienced enough to really take that next step to get to the finals.
I think that's debatable.
Jazz maybe, the Suns definitely not.
So the Jazz have a better chance than the Suns, that's led by veteran Chris Paul.
I say that because Jazz are a little bit more experienced than the Suns. The Suns are a really young team who hasn't been in the playoffs in years.
Yeah, but you have Chris Paul leading them.
You're acting like Chris Paul has great playoff success.
Chris Paul, not 2 or 3 years ago, was in the Western Conference Finals with James Harden. And had he never gotten hurt, they would have been in the finals.
True. but he didn't play in the conference finals like that because he was hurt.
He not hurt now.
Hey, he was never hurt going into the final, going into the playoffs before, and then somehow he gets hurt going into the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. That always happens to him.
I don't know. I think that you're slightly sleeping on Chris Paul's ability to lead a team, and as well as this Phoenix Suns team in general. You know,
I might,
these guys are playing with something to prove. That's why I said, like, yeah, watch out for them.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, they're definitely a dangerous team. You see what they did in the bubble last year, and they went 8-0 without Chris Paul. But I just feel like in a 7-game series against the best teams in the West, and we all know how hard the West is, especially since they're going to be like the second seed, first or second seed. That means they have to go up against the Lakers in round one or the Warriors or whatever team in round one. Yeah, that's a problem.
Hey, honestly, I know I'll gamble. I'll say that. I'm gonna say this: if they see any other team but the Lakers in the first round, they will go first. They will go pretty far in the playoffs.
But if they do see the Lakers, what happens?
6 games, LA.
Like round one, most likely they'll see the Lakers, and that's gonna be bad. That's bad for any
Hey,
team.
huh?
That's bad for any team.
Oh, absolutely. Because LeBron, oh yeah, LeBron has played. He's mad. I know LeBron will come back. He's been saying all this slander. He's gonna come back angry.
Yeah, no team wants to face the Lakers in round one, and it's either going to be the Jazz or the Suns, and that's going to be really tough. But moving on, Victor Oladipo is having season-ending surgery on his right quadriceps tendon. What are your thoughts on that?
We'll see what Pat Riley's thinking in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't really necessarily good for him in regards to his stay in Miami, or even if he was expecting a really big payday coming out of Miami. I mean, coming from Miami. So I have heard some rumors that the Knicks would be interested in signing him. So maybe he'll make that trip to Brooklyn. I mean, to Madison Square Garden. But I think what he'll end up doing, he'll take that pay cut, especially seeing that we have really big names that could potentially come in here, the likes of Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard. So it'll be interesting to see what Pat Riley ends up doing in the offseason. But this is not something that a lot of Heat Nation really wanted to see.
Yeah, it's quite sad. That's how it ended that way. He was getting better and better as the game started to progress. Like his last game that he played, and that was his best game in a Heat uniform. So it sucks that he got hurt. I think he will resign with the Heat, maybe on a 1-year deal worth $8 to $10 million, just a prove it deal. See if he can do it, because no other team is gonna sign into a big contract. I know he wants a big contract, but no other team is gonna sign into a big contract. And the Heat have his bird rights. The Heat traded for him. I know he wants to be in Miami. So I mean, this is gonna be the ultimate test to see if he really wants to be in Miami. They're gonna be, hey, like, I know you want to play for us. Not a lot of teams are giving you crazy offers. If you want to give it one more chance, we're willing to give you this amount of money for about a year, and we'll see if we can run it back. Hopefully that's what happens. But we're going to commercial. You are watching Time Out with the Avant Bros. If you enjoy the show, please click the share button to share the stream with all your friends. Also, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for @Boca Tribune. You can also follow the show on Instagram at @the_timeout7. See you soon.
Information. If it exists in writing, we print it. If it exists online, we update it. If it exists on mobile, we notify. If it exists in video, we show it. If it exists in audio, we play it. In the past, the news had to wait for a paper to print for it to happen. Today, news happens in real time. It's analyzed, edited, and published immediately by us, your neighbors, and of course, you. Wherever you are, you write, edit, give opinions, share photos, and make the news happen. This is why paper needs to be on print, on screen, and on your phone. Wherever you are, your news has its pulse in the community. The Boca Raton Tribune. We are much more than just a newspaper. We are your closest neighbor.
Welcome back, everyone. Moving on to the NFL. Recently, the NFL just released the schedule for all 32 teams. Noah, what game or games stood out to you the most?
It's not so much what stood out, it's just what didn't necessarily stand out. I think a lot of NFL fans were really expecting to see the Giants and the Eagles play their first week 1. And the NFL kind of dropped the ball on that. At this point, I really feel like there's a lot of said but unsaid tension between the two organizations. And I really feel like that should have been one of the first games that the league put out. That's just me personally speaking.
Me personally, I feel like the biggest game of the year, the one that caught my eye, was Tom Brady's return to Foxborough. I believe as of right now, the cheapest ticket is like in the thousands right now, which is understandable because Tom Brady's coming back. I don't think the fans are gonna boo him. I think they might boo him, but I don't think they will. He's not gonna get a reaction like how LeBron got from Cleveland when he first got back.
Right.
But it's gonna be electric. They said I seen people saying it's probably the biggest game in NFL history. The greatest quarterback of all time is going back home.
Yeah. Cam Newton's gonna get booed when they play Carolina.
Oh, they're playing Carolina?
Yeah, I think they're playing Carolina week 4, I think.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know if you need boo though.
I think they will. Carolina fans really don't like Cam Newton.
It's not like he left. It's not like he left them. Like Carolina just dumped him.
Yeah, but their fan base is interesting. At least the many fans that I've come across here living here, they don't seem too high on Cam Newton. And I don't know why. He's their best franchise quarterback in the history of the Panthers. Jake Delhomme sucked. Jimmy Clausen sucked. Sam Darnold might be pretty good. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't the best. But it's going to be very, very interesting to see what goes on. And the reason why I didn't say the Bucks playing the Patriots would be like a really big game, because we know who's going to win that game. Like, the Bucks are going to blow those guys out of the water. It's going to get ugly. Like, really quick.
Yeah.
But.
And the Dolphins are going against Jaguars in London.
That's going to be cool. That's
Dolphins
going to be really cool.
The Dolphins are going to win most likely, but,
the Dolphins secondary now is ridiculous. Like, these guys, like, it's looking scary for any team to throw on them.
The Legion of Boom 2.0.
Yeah, you gotta get the Legion of Boom some grills and some wicks.
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be mostly Xavier Howard making the plays, but I was looking at this one highlight video. It was like Miami's 20-something interceptions, and like half of them were Xavier Howard's.
Yeah, he's still there.
I was like, my goodness, that's the best corner in the league. But
that's scary.
Let me ask you a question. I don't know if you noticed, or I don't know if you was paying attention, but do you know if the Jaguars are going up against the Jets? Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Do you know?
I didn't see that. I do know that Trevor Lawrence and Joe Burrow are playing.
Oh, okay.
They do play this year, and they're going to be like the college football national championship rematch. So
yeah, because usually like the two like rookie QBs, usually the two rookie QBs like play against each other like year one.
Yeah.
So I mean, because I think that's what happened last year with like Burrow and Herbert and I was gonna say Burrow and Tua as well, but Tua ain't play against the Bengals.
Yeah, no, he did.
But moving on,
Tim Tebow's
Tim
playing.
Tebow.
Tim Tebow. This is honestly hilarious to me. But this is a prime example of why it's not so much what you know or what you can do. It is who you know. Prime example of who you know. This guy is going to be signed. If not, he's already been signed by the Jaguars. He's almost official, or it is official. He is making his NFL return, and not at the quarterback spot, but at the tight end. But Colin Kaepernick had been trying for months and years to get back to the NFL, and nobody would sign this man. This is hilarious. It's real funny. What do you think, Shay?
Yeah. I mean, he's 33. He could. I don't think he's going to be very successful at tight end because he's learning a new position. Now, if he would have made that move earlier, like when he was kicked off the Broncos, and he was like, "All right, no team's gonna give me a serious shot at quarterback," then yeah, because he would still be young, he'll be fine. But then he left, played baseball, and then now he's got to turn his body back into a football body, and then bulk up some more because now he has to play tight end. So.
And the guys in the league, the defensive guys, they're gunning for him. They want him.
They're definitely gunning
for him. Bush from the Steelers already said, "Yeah, you know we got to do."
Yeah, now they have now he's not a quarterback, so he's not as protected anymore. That way's a tight end. They get hit the most. They got to be on. He got to be a receiver. He got to be on the line. Like that's tough. That's tough.
That's so tough because they're gonna blow him out of the water.
And then when it comes to getting playing time, he got to compete against people who's been playing tight end their whole life, and he's just learning this new position. Go on.
They're gonna have him like Taysom Hill.
Yeah, they have to. They have to have him like Taysom Hill. Not strictly a tight end, but have him move around the field.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna use him as like a receiver. Like sometimes he lines up at receiver, sometimes he lines up at tight end, sometimes he's gonna line up at quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I hope people aren't thinking that he's just going. No, they're gonna have him there as a QB at times. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Trevor Lawrence is having a bad game, they pull Trevor out, or the offensive line is just fumbling the bag. Tim Tebow's the guy is the new fall guy. So I would not be surprised at all. Speaking of new QBs, Blake Bortles. He's a Packer now.
Mm-hmm.
So Trey, what are you saying? What's the word?
It doesn't really mean much to me. I mean, yeah, that could be like insurance, or if the Packers end up trading Aaron Rodgers, and then obviously you start Jordan Love and Blake Bortles be that reliable backup. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like it could be a move that Aaron Rodgers is done in Green Bay because Blake Bortles is kind of too good to have him as your third quarterback. Especially since the money they're probably giving him to be the third string. Nah, you're not going to give that much money to a third string quarterback. So I mean, it's very possible they're like, all right, we got Blake Bortles. We're going to try to keep Aaron Rodgers, but if Aaron Rodgers is still upset and he doesn't report to training camp or whatever, then obviously you're going to trade him, and then roll with Jordan Love and see what happens, and Blake Bortles will be the backup.
I mean, I have been doing a little snooping, and in the Broncos reporting world, journalism world, and it was a local beat reporter for the Broncos. I've got his name, that essentially reported that the trade was everything but done. They're just essentially waiting for a couple of more things to go into play. Maybe it's a money thing, so they don't have this dead money sitting on the cap space or whatever it may be. But the reporter seemed pretty confident that Aaron Rodgers is essentially coming to Denver. I don't know how true that is. Again, this is just a local reporter. His information may not always be there. But I will say it is almost guaranteed that this guy is gone. And that's why they signed him, because they are going to trade Aaron Rodgers.
Now, would the Broncos end up trading Drew Lock to Green Bay, and Drew Lock and Jordan Love be going at it for the starting job?
Almost basically. I mean, almost guaranteed that'd probably be a thing. I mean, they could even trade Von Miller. I remember there was a situation where Von Miller was saying that he wasn't happy being there anymore. So maybe we can see Von Miller in a Packers jersey next year. I mean, everything's just up in the air. But potentially, but to me, it only makes sense that if I'm Green Bay, I'm trading for a younger quarterback. If I am going to trade, or I'm trading for another quarterback that could potentially fill that void. But with them getting Blake Bortles, it seems like maybe they're going to try to trade Aaron Rodgers to fix another need that they have. Maybe adding an additional receiver, another running back, or maybe beef up the defense a little bit more too as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. That trading for Von Miller would be very beneficial to the Packers. They do need help on the defensive end. But moving on to the out of bounds segment, I don't know if our viewers know this already, but Noah recently graduated from North Carolina Agricultural and Technical University.
Excuse me, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
Oh, State University. I am so sorry.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Pride. You know what I'm saying?
But Noah, anything you want to say?
Hey man, I'm glad it's all over. To the young high school kids that could be they're watching this. Hey man, college is an adventure. It's really an adventure. You have to have perseverance. You have to have dedication to see it through from beginning to end. And the experiences I had in these years of college are second to none. And I'll always remember the people that took the time to, make college even better of a memory. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for me.
And again, Noah, congratulations. I know it was a long, arduous journey, but you did it.
Boy, thank you. Boy, thank you.
All right. It's hot take time. And my hot take of today is, I believe by year 3 or 4, Anthony Edwards will be a top 10 player in the NBA. Right now, he's leading all rookies in scoring. I believe he's averaging 19 points a game or around there. He is a solid number 2 to Karl-Anthony Towns. And who knows, he could be number 1, especially since Karl-Anthony Towns is growing a little unhappy in Minnesota. So, and they already have D'Angelo Russell. Not Milwaukee. Minnesota could be a very dangerous team in the years to come, as long as they shore up on the defensive side and add some shooters. But Anthony Edwards is already scoring with the best of them. Already scoring with the best of them. He's only 19, 20 years old. He's already scoring with the best of them. So I believe in about year 3 or year 4, he'll be a top 10 player. Maybe averaging 30 points a game by year 4, year 5.
30?
He reminds me of James Harden. Especially if they end up trading D'Angelo Russell or Karl-Anthony Towns. Hey.
I see 25, man. 30?
I can see him averaging between 25 and 30.
25.
I can see that. It depends on their roster construction.
But 30? Ugh.
Okay, 28.
There you go. That's a little bit more realistic. But I believe that the Charlotte Hornets will win their playoffs. Will win the playoff berth through this playing tournament. The Charlotte Hornets, in my opinion, are the best team in this playing tournament, hands down. I'm not really worried about Washington coming in and beating them. They are playing very good. They started playing a lot better towards the end of the season. But with Charlotte, this team right here is just young and hungry. And I really like the team chemistry that they have going on. And I really feel like this team right here could shock a lot of people in this playoff series.
Yeah, especially with LaMelo. LaMelo can really shock a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right,
It's not
guys.
even just a Melo at this point. Him and Malik Monk. Malik Monk's been playing really good this year. Miles
And
Bridges as
Devontae
well.
and Terry Rozier as well.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Bridges,
Gordon Hayward.
Gordon Hayward.
You know, all those guys. I know he's hurt. I know Gordon Hayward is hurt right now, but all of those guys have played this exceptionally well this year. So shout out to Michael Jordan. He's doing his thing out there in the spectrum.
Great coaching as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally, after all these years. But all right, guys, that's it for today's show. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Boca Raton Tribune on all social media platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and Twitter. Just look for @Boca Tribune. You can also follow the show on Instagram at @the_timeout7. Follow me on my personal Twitter at Trey Avant3. Noah.
You can follow me on Instagram at ArtBuilderNoah and Twitter at WhoBuildsArts.
Timeout airs every Thursday at 7 p.m. As always, this is the Avant Bros signing off.
Peace.